Joe mentioned Joe made a post on the school group recently, which, if you remember, was, do you see talking to women as or cold approach or pickup or whatever, however it was worded, as a chore, or is it fun? Like, shouldn't it be fucking fun? And I think we did a poll on this recently. I think it was like a 51-49 split, but I'm gonna check how it is right now. Oh yeah, here it is, right there. Hundreds of votes. 52% said doing game feels like a chore. 48% doing game feels fun. So there are a lot of guys, it's almost 50-50, who just like approaching women is a chore. It's like a job. It's like, but you're not getting paid for it. They're doing 10 hours of cold approach in Washington Square Park in New York, but they're not having.
Are you too surprised by those results?
Strange. I would have expected that it would have been a little more who would see it as a chore, but it kind of does make sense, I guess.
Oh, as a chore, I was really surprised.
It's kind of divided as well too. For us men who are polygynous, clearly, we don't have the necessarily the desire to go out and seek, in the same level as men who are single. As a man with two wives, to me, it would be more of probably more of a chore now, because again, I'm looking at the responsibility that's going to come with, should I be successful in approaching a new female? Okay, well, now this is another woman that I'm going to have to lead. I'm going to have to provide for. I'm going to have to protect. I'm going to have to, so all of it kind of goes into more so all right, where am I at in life? And is God calling me to do this, moving forward? Now, when I was single, it definitely was more fun because I was actively seeking and desiring, again, that to reach that ultimate level of game that you're referring to, is creating a family. And it was definitely more of a motivating factor at that stage of my life. So the men that in my coaching group that are single, they're more definitely interested, and I think find it more, fun to learn how to approach women and what's the best way to cold call. And then you were part of our coaching group. You had a lot of men who were wanting to know, what's the best way to get to establish with my photos and showing that I've got, a good, exciting life, to attract these type of women, and so yada, yada, yada. And in that call, I was actually relatively quiet because I'm going, I'm a man with two wives. I'm not out there looking for necessarily another.
Yeah, it's the purpose. It's right. Like I could sit here and be like, if you see a business opportunity, are you going to chase it? Like, are you going to make a cold approach for a business opportunity? Well, yeah. Then it's not so much, technically that could, like, you could describe it as a chore, but I would see it more as an opportunity. I don't think it's a chore for me to, let's say, I already know Dan Bilzerian, but I don't know, some random celebrity who I'm not, man, I can't even fucking name any celebrities. I don't fan anyone, but let's say there was an opportunity who, I'm fucking everything up. Let's say there was someone super fucking famous, and I know there's an obvious business opportunity there, maybe collaboration, join the fucking live stream or whatever. I'm just seeing that as an opportunity. I'm not seeing that as a chore. It could be fun. Maybe it's a man. I'm not doing it for dating. So there's a strange way that we think about things. And it's like, okay, so in some context, if it's a business opportunity, it's not really a chore. It's not necessarily for fun. It's not for dating if it's a man. Right. So what is it? So then it becomes that funny thing where I see Devin's videos on Instagram. He's approaching a man in the gas station. He's not doing that as a chore. He's doing that for fun. Maybe there's opportunity there. Maybe he has a business. So I think it should be the way people perceive cold approach should be more perceived as opportunity approach. Ross Jeffries describes it as,
I do too.
Ross Jeffries describes approaching anxiety as opportunity hesitation. He says you don't have approach anxiety, you have opportunity hesitation. And once I could have fucking heard, he should have told me that years ago, because I only found that out. Maybe he told me last year. Um, if only I knew that years before, because now I just see it completely differently. Like that would have skipped some fucking levels for sure. So it's the way we see things is definitely really fucking important.
Well, definitely. And as Devin, to piggyback off of what Devin said, you've got a passion for something, and there's that thing that that you can talk about for ever in a day. For me, it's like these things here. Coming on board with you, where you were talking about earlier, how all of our messages in some way, shape, or form, they interlap at some point in time, within the coaching, dating coaching panel, me as a polygynous man who, is actively looking to unplug as many men from the fallacy of the monogamy only lie that the secular church pushed on, us because of Roman Greco ideologies and so forth. There's these opportunities where you've got somebody like yourself where it's like, yeah, I could be out there doing different things right now. I've got other things I can do today. However, there is an opportunity here because there's any chance to be able to say, hey, I want to go out here, not only support my buddy Ice White here, who's had me on a couple of podcasts, but also to be able to say, hey, is this an opportunity for one more individual to hear a message to say, hey, this makes sense. Let me research this a little bit more and more. Some of us do it for monetary reasons. Others do it just because it's just our passion. Again, I just started YouTube, my channel. I did my first video a couple weeks ago. Never was really, I used YouTube, but I've never started my own channel, never did my own thing. I was mainly on Instagram and Facebook and other things. But now this has been a new door that opened up because you invited, me and Rob Kowalski on, and it was like, all right, well, I've never done this before, but why not? And now it's something I'm going, hey, I want to do more of this, so it's becoming a new passion of mine to be able to jump in and have good conversations and sometimes debates with other individuals and be able to say, hey, even if just one person hears this, great, that's just one more person that we reach. So I like how you definitely indicate that you see how everything is always an opportunity, and if you have that opportunity,
you might not even know what the opportunity is. Like
right.
I don't even know why I'm doing this fucking live stream. I just popped into my head. I was like, let's just fucking see what
the
happens.
same here. I was like, I'm going to get on today. I was like, I don't know what. I mean, before there were specific topics. It's like, okay, we're going to have a dating coach with polygynous. Okay, cool. I fit in there. Then you invited us to have a debate with Sicario. Okay, there's a polygynous debate on biblical polygyny versus modern secular hookups. I can do that. That fits me. Now I'm going on a 24-hour straight where there is no topic. It's just pop in and let's see what happens. Like, okay.
It's a good analogy for cold approach, actually, because I talk to a lot of guys. The biggest problem that guys have in general is that they can talk to the girl if there's built-in context or rapport. Let's say she's a cashier, or maybe they used to work together, or she's wearing a band shirt they like. But if they see a girl walking down the street, they don't know what to say because there's nothing to go off of, or so they say. But when you can train the art of creating context, of not knowing what to say, or having a situation like this, for example, where you're just flying, like improv, pretty much, right? Where it's like, what's the saying? Flying off the seat of your pants or whatever. Flying by the seat of your pants. Right? Train yourself to do that as you're going about your day. And the thing is too, is even if you're at the gym, at the cafe, on the street, you walk past so many attractive women every single day. You walk past so many people whose days you could make, right? Everyone walks around like this, staring at their hands. And that's actually not normal. We've trained ourselves to think that that's normal, but it is the furthest thing from normal. Right? Like I would, if my grandpa were still alive, I would show him these cold approach reels or the stuff that I do. And he'd be like, okay. And right? Because I used to see him do that all the time, right? He would make friends. He would go and dance with girls that are 40 years younger than him, like all the time. He'd be making friends as he's out checking the weather, having a cigarette. Like, yeah, it's just crazy how disconnected the world is now. But train yourself to be social.
Absolutely. I'm a 20-year veteran, retired Marine Corps, and we used to have a saying in the Marine Corps: "We don't plan, we improvise." That's just Marines, It's like, adapt and overcome. It is what it is. Always make the best with what you're given. So, and when you plan too much, nothing ever goes according to military plan. Never. So that's why Marines are just known for, hey, we don't plan, we improvise.
It's interesting. Every time I've tried to pick up, like in my younger days, I would go and try to pick up a girl. It would always fail. always, because it's like she could probably see it in your eyes. You're okay. Well, if she says this, I'll say that. Well, it's like sometimes you just exactly got to take your foot off the gas and just improvise. Yeah, obviously having structure and leading it forward is important, but yeah, have fun with it.
Check this out. Let me screen share this. Here we go. My grandpa just told me I need to step my game up and showed me this from when he was my age. He's like at the fucking beach or some shit with two ladies there, and he's like, look at his legs. He's like jacked as shit. I'm getting confused here because I saw a different version and the ladies look muscular. Damn it.
I'll go for the one in the pink. Oh my.
Damn.
But I bet the funny thing is I bet if you asked him, that grandpa or whatever, if he was still alive, if you asked him what his opener was, he'd be like, what do you mean? He'd be like, what? I don't know. I just went up and talked to them. Like sometimes guys get so into the nitty gritty of, oh, should I say, I thought you were cute, or should I say, I thought you were beautiful?
Boomer Justin, it said, my first line to my fiance was, you look cute sitting on my lap.
Well,
it's as simple as that. Like, it's funny.
There's got to be so many grandparents that probably do think that way about, like, if they've got some Gen Z snowflake grandson,
Skibbity Riz,
just because
here, motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because just things obviously used to be so much different back then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if approach anxiety even existed back then.
Imagine if we interviewed a bunch of like people who came back to life right now who were alive back in the early 1900s. Like, did you have an approach anxiety back then? Were you a virgin for like 50, 20 by the age of 35 and blah blah blah? It's like, nah, I worked in the fucking gold mines and then I just like random fucking shit.